We all see marriage as a celebration of love and happiness, but in Grimm fairy tales, happiness is but a dream. Boasting at his recent success, we have Mr. Fox, a charismatic individual who recently won the heart of the fairest girl in town. No one really knew where he lived, and there was a rumour that his house was located on the outskirts of the town. His popularity grew because he was dating the most fairest lady in all the lands. Her name was Mary, a fair girl who had many lovers, but out of all of them she chose Mr. Fox. It was his charity and braveness that brought him to her attention. One day the town was in trouble and he came to the rescue, so it was only natural that his reputation in the town grew and his marriage to the fair maiden was underway. Mary was one of 2 other children. Her half-sister, a troubled young soul destined to remain single for life, cursed the very family from within, while her older brother stood gallantly at the top of the family tree, ready to bestow greatness in the coming years. The family rarely agreed on anything, but the proposed marriage to Mr. Fox was one thing they could agree on. However, to this day, nobody in the family knew where Mr. Fox lived, and when Mary asked where they would reside, the mysterious house on the edge of the town was going to be their home. Strange to say, she was curious about his whereabouts, and one day before her wedding she decided to follow him into the depths of the woods to learn about his secret, if he had one. She journeyed up into the forest and followed the dull path that lay before her. Mr. Fox was well ahead and did not know she was following. She heard tales in the village about women that had been going missing over the years, but she felt safer in the knowledge that Mr. Fox was there if anything was to happen. Then soon enough, as the hours ticked away, she came across a castle that was shrouded in mystery. It was ruined and ancient, and she said to herself, this couldn't be his home. She ventured to the gateway and saw a message on the post. It said, "Be bold, be bold." She went to the main structure and saw a message written in red on the floor. It said, be bold, but not too bold. But the messages didn't stop her. She pressed forward and then came upon a door with the words, be bold, but not too bold, lest that your heart's blood should run cold. She opened the door and looked inside the small dark room. Only a small candle flickered in the darkness. All around she saw what looked like meat strung up on hooks. But before she could investigate further, she looked back and saw Mr. Fox in the distance on the other side of the castle, dragging something to the well. He heaved and pushed. She gasped, jumped back into the clearing. A sudden movement made a noise that would certainly attract the attention of Mr. Fox. As she was making a quick retreat, she spots a hand on the wall, its ruby ring glittering for attention. She picked it up in her hands, but with Mr. Fox hot on her trail, she jumped down and made a quick getaway. Mr. Fox, quickly in pursuit, assumed it was some kind of animal and just made a brief attempt to check to see if it was well there. But after a while he dismissed and returned back to the well to carry on with his deadly deeds. As a new day dawned upon the land, it was the day of the wedding, and while all the family was at the dinner table, Mr. Fox noticed how pale Mary was. "Why, Mary, you're very pale this morning. It's the day of our wedding. You should be jumping for joy."
"Oh, I couldn't sleep. I had a nightmare last night."
Well, dreams can mean the opposite of what they actually mean, so tell me your dream and I'll translate for you.
Well, I dreamed that I went to your castle yesterday, and before I entered, I saw a sign that said, "Be bold, be bold."
It is not so, nor it was not so.
Then I went further in and saw written on the floor in blood, be bold, but not too bold."
It is not so. No, it was not so.
Then I saw you. Well, what looked like you throwing something down the well. And I saw another sign on the door. It read, be bold, but not too bold, lest that your heart's blood should run cold.
Well, it is... well, it is not so. Nor was it not so. And God forbid, should it be so.
I looked inside. I saw bodies hung up all over. I stepped back, ran behind the castle, to hide from you.
Well, it was not so. No, it was not so. And God forbid, should it be so.
Then I found a hand, with a leg on it. The hand that was not attached to her body.
It is not so.
But it is so. Look!
She tossed the hand onto the table for all to see. Moments later, her brother and father shot to their feet with shock, and before Mr. Fox could react, he was knocked hard with a blunt object. After a few hours, Mr. Fox slowly opened his eyes and found himself tied to the floor in the middle of the room. He recognized this room. It was the room that he had strung up all the bodies. He tried to get loose, but then he heard a voice from within the darkness.
What's going on?
For years, I've been wondering what we should do with my youngest daughter. She wasn't blessed with beauty or the personality of a human. It would be such a shame to waste this opportunity. You once said you wanted to contribute to this family. I believe you still can. It's about time you meet your future wife. Thank you for being part of this family for now and forever.
Hello, love. Don't we have a tasty young man? Woo! You're my new lover. Come on now. Give us a kiss. You're going to be my lovely husband. No, mine.
Trapped with nowhere to go, Mr. Fox entered his own world of purgatory, and Mary carried on with the knowledge that her younger sister had a new toy to play with.